We're coming up with new ways to transfer value every single day, and I worry that we're gonna crush that entrepreneurial spirit and that advancement. Obviously, you and I, we've heard of Bitcoin, we've heard of Ethereum. You familiar with XRP and the efforts of Ripple?
With the distributed ledger technology for their payments?
Yep.
Yes.
And you're familiar with EOS?
No.
What about privacy coins like Monero or Zcash?
So I had a footnote that if I understood the aim of this hearing, that it was that I was not going to approach the privacy concerns. There are any number of different privacy technologies around cryptocurrencies. Some are concerning, some are very promising, and that it really is very item specific. So I don't have a lot to say on that, only that you're right. There is definitely, I mean, I agree with you that there is definitely some interesting things going on.
That was, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, Monero and Zcash, and XRP being mentioned on a national level at a very recent U.S. congressional hearing. Now, in that last clip, the lady fielding the questions from the U.S. House of Representatives was a Miss Tetrault. And Miss Tetrault is an expert in digital financial services, served on the Federal Reserve's Steering Committee for the Faster Payments Task Force, and helped develop Consumer Reports rating system for peer-to-peer payment services like Venmo. So super smart lady when it comes to finance. But you know what? As the House of Representatives asked her more and more questions about cryptocurrency, it seemed that was maybe one area that she should have been a little more prepared for. Because this US congressional hearing, this just happened, and it wasn't supposed to be all about cryptocurrency, it was actually about mobile payments. But crypto upstaged mobile payments in terms of the questions that the US representatives asked these experts, showing where the real interest was in this congressional hearing. Now, as a Bitcoin holder, what do you need to know? Well, at a January 30th hearing before the FinTech Task Force, a body within the United States House of Representatives, lawmakers were focused on bringing crypto into the conversation. Now, here are the basics that you should know. The hearing, entitled Is Cash Still King?, reviewing the rise of mobile payments, featured testimony from the best of the best, from witnesses with backgrounds spanning payment providers, consumer advocates, and financial inclusion nonprofits, financial juggernauts answering the question, is cash still going to be around in the future, and where do mobile payments come into play? But in speaking on the future of payments, cryptocurrency kept coming up. I want to share with you this. This is a question that came up later in the hearing. Now watch U.S. Representative Mr. Hill ask the question, as the world becomes more digital, can we have an approved payment rail for banks as well as person-to-person that's blockchain-based? Listen to her answer, suggesting that yes, that's where the world is trending. The world is trending more digital, but whether it's approved or not has nothing to do with the tech. We have the tech. The potential limits will come from how governments like the U.S. choose to regulate this new tech.
Out there in the payment system, we have wire transfers, we have ACH, we have SWIFT, we have cash, obviously, we have MasterCard Direct. We have all these different methodologies, and my question is, can we have a approved regulatory payment rail that's blockchain-based, that's available to banks and non-banks equally, where someone could propose a blockchain effort, and what does that look like from a regulatory point of view? That rail, so it's not a debit rail, it's not a credit rail, it's a blockchain available digital rail. Whether there's a cryptocurrency involved or not, be neutral on that. What are your thoughts, Ms. Ford, on that?
I'm not sure how authorized I am to speak on that issue. I'm not an expert on that type of technology, but I would say that I don't think it would be a limitation of technology being, able to support that rail. I think it would actually come down to whatever policy implications there are. And I think, Christina has alluded to some of this as well, that I think, there is an inconsistency in the way that, blockchain or just distributed ledger is regulated today. It seems to be happening mainly at the state level. And so that kind of inconsistency with the regulatory environment might be one of the limitations that could exist.
Right. Mr. Ahmed, do you want to comment on that?
I would just note that, for the kind of core banking architecture, I think there would probably be some changes needed in terms of the Federal Reserve System. But for, smaller valuation or smaller amount payments, I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems being created that enable the movement of money. So I think there are examples out there. We talk about XRP or others that kind of offer this.
Now, this last expert, Mr. Ahmed, he is the head of PayPal, the head of public policy at PayPal. The text there, he references XRP. The unknown in all this is how the U.S. government will choose to regulate. I think this is a big green flag. The United States of America is obviously, they're asking the questions. They can see that the world is trending more digital, and cryptocurrency is not only not going away, more and more cryptocurrencies are popping up every second. I like this. I want to support this. There's a link down below in the description if you want to see this full video. I have news for you involving Japan launching their own social network digital currency. I have Ethereum news, but the one thing that I will leave you with, while this U.S. congressional hearing, while they're just asking the questions, right, there was nothing concrete decided today. There's something very clear that the members of the FinTech task force, at least some of them, right? Some of them didn't really know about cryptocurrency, but the majority of them are clearly looking seriously at cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology as answers to issues of financial inclusion and a sluggish payments process. If this wasn't important, they wouldn't be having a hearing about it. Next piece of news, Japan's biggest social network launches its digital currency. This is an altcoin that's opening up to the US. Let me tell you about it. Japan's Line social network, the largest in the country of Japan, has announced the launch of its digital currency Link in the Japanese market from April. Now, the token has been available. The token has previously been available in all countries except Japan and except the US. Well, that's changing now. Just some history. The history is the Line made its first move into blockchain back in early 2018 when it announced plans to launch a cryptocurrency exchange within its chat app. So I guess it's like a WeChat kind of thing. After much negotiation with the Japanese regulators, Line launched the Bitbox exchange in July 2018, but it was outside its app and excluding Japanese and US investors. And here's what's changed. Since the initial launch, LVC, Line's subsidiary operating the digital currency and blockchain business, has been preparing to roll out the coins in the Japanese market. This has involved working with the Japanese Virtual Currency Exchange Association, which has a process to handle new digital currencies. So this is officially debuting in Japan. I guess I was wrong. It's just debuting in Japan right now. And it's an altcoin that will be used within their social network. So I guess a utility coin. I like it. It shows at least Japan is even more lightening up to cryptocurrency and altcoins. Next piece of news, it's a green flag for Ethereum and Ethereum miners. Ethereum miners are hoarding Ether tokens, and this could indicate high confidence in the project. So more miners of Ethereum are hodling their coins now more than ever. The steady accumulation suggests high confidence levels in the project, I guess meaning in Ethereum, among the majority block creators, at the very least relative to the current market conditions. And to throw a stat at you, the cumulative balance of all ETH mining pools has risen by 11% from 1.52 million a year ago. So Ethereum miners aren't selling, they're more hodling. Guys, hit subscribe. As this news comes out, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to inform you. Hit subscribe. But the last thing I'm going to leave you with is just a little 60-second clip. Not a lot of people caught this. This clip clearly offers some insight showing that PayPal might be getting into blockchain, might be getting into crypto, and really wants to be that solution to bank the unbanked. Now, I'm sure there'll be nothing more permissioned, nothing more centralized. But either way, the race is on. Watch this.
Are you confident that we will not leave these unbanked and underbanked folks behind?
I would say at PayPal, we're making very, very strong efforts to do that, and I think it's going to be about everyone in this room working together, public-private partnership, and intentionality behind the efforts in order to prevent that from happening.
Do you think there are costs associated with accepting cash for small businesses?
Certainly, and I think a typical small business, when they're accepting cash, they assume that it's a costless transaction, but actually when it comes to things like, simple things like accounting for that cash, doing payouts to employees, doing payouts to vendors, providing security for the cash, there are actually a number of costs associated with that. My mom was a small business owner, and I remember the challenges of trying to account for everything. And so digital kind of transactions can really help to simplify a lot of those processes and reduce some of those transaction costs.
And